When male strippers invade small towns, Monday at 7:30.
Sky 8, only on Northwest News Channel 8.
The Pacific storm rocking California has deadly results. A rising river sweeps away a bridge and 6 cars on it, while high water and sliding mud send other Californians scrambling to safety.
We found out that there was a high incidence of alcohol usage in the cyclists.
Proof that driving drunk is dangerous, whether it's 2 wheels or 4.
Know anybody with big trees around their house? Better make sure they're watching this story. I'm Pat Cruz. I'm going to introduce you to what some people call botanical public enemy #1.
Can a deadly disease bring in big bucks at the box office? A review of Dustin Hoffman's new movie, Outbreak.
And those unbearably cute polar bear cubs have some new competition at the Denver Zoo. The Weekend News at 5 is straight ahead.
Live at 5. This is KGW, Northwest News Channel 8, Weekend Edition.
34 California counties have been declared disaster areas. The rains have left roads, buildings, and bridges in ruin.
A big slide down there happened while we were physically, like, between here and where your remote truck is. It was like...
Good evening, I'm Nancy Francis.
And I'm Gulstan. Thanks for joining us tonight. The death toll from the California storm is rising. Rescuers found the bodies of 2 skiers caught in a blizzard near Lake Tahoe. And at least 5 people are feared dead after their cars fell from a collapsed bridge. Drew Levinson has the latest on the bad weather.
In Northern California, a bridge collapsed near the town of Coalinga. At least 3 vehicles plunged into a rain-swollen creek beneath Interstate 5. Rescue workers managed to pull 1 man to safety from the raging waters Friday night. This is the 2nd storm of this magnitude to hit California this year. Since Thursday, gale force winds and heavy rain have swelled rivers, closed dozens of roads and highways, and left thousands of residents homeless.
This is disaster. I really feel for the people that live around here that cannot come home tonight and have a home to live in. I mean, this is not just money going down the drain here. This is people's lives.
Downtown San Jose looked more like a lake when the Guadalupe River spilled over its banks. Above the Napa River, the Con Dam couldn't hold back all the rainwater. The spillway looked like a giant fountain. And if it wasn't the rain, it was snow. Up to 4 feet fell in the Sierra Mountains. Driving was a chore. Southern California has been hit as well. The big problem? Mud. Lots of it. In some places, 10 to 15 feet of mud, rocks, and uprooted trees.
Feels like you have ankle weights on treading through the mud. It's just amazing.
Mudslides have disrupted large sections of the Pacific Coast Highway in Malibu, damaging and in some cases destroying roadside homes and blocking access. The cleanup has begun. Heavy equipment has been brought in, but trying to get rid of this mess is no easy task. It will take days, in some places maybe weeks. That is, if the rain stays away. Drew Levinson, NBC News.
About 400 people have been evacuated from low-lying areas below Shasta Dam along the Sacramento River. Officials say they were forced to release massive amounts of water to keep the dam from breaking.
In Seattle, funeral services were held today for 2 women killed in a Seattle courthouse. Last week, Phoebe DeZone, Veronica Loretta Johnson, and Susanna Blackwell were gunned down in a hallway of the courthouse. Today, DeZone and Johnson were laid to rest. A memorial ceremony was held last night for Susanna Blackwell and her unborn baby. Timothy Blackwell, Susanna's husband, has been charged with the multiple murders.
Police are still busting those who look for love in all the wrong places. Last night, Portland police arrested 18 men and confiscated 15 vehicles during a routine anti-prostitution mission. Undercover female officers posed as prostitutes. The sting focused on the Hollywood neighborhood along 82nd Avenue and Sandy Boulevard. The city prostitution seizure ordinance allows police to take a person's car away if they're caught soliciting.
Alcohol has been linked to a high percentage of fatal bicycle accidents. The statistics surprised even the researchers who found half of all people who died in Oregon bike accidents were legally drunk. The News Channel's Kelly Love reports.
50% of those killed in bike accidents in Oregon were legally drunk. It came as a surprise to researchers who conducted the study at OHSU.
I think, first of all, we tend to think of cyclers as healthy people, and we don't always associate alcohol with healthy activity.
But the numbers for 1989 in the Oregon Injury Registry show otherwise. Alcohol was involved in 15% of injury accidents and 50% of the deaths. Dr. Edmund Frank says the demographics went across the board.
Probably the casual, everyday bicycle rider that's out on a Saturday afternoon along the park, has a few beers, decides to go riding.
At the Portland Bike Show, where cyclists are comparing notes, upgrading equipment, the statistic comes as a big surprise.
But it wasn't something you ever hear about.
Those who promote cycling say it should serve as a wake-up call.
If you're a bicycle commuter and you're out with friends, you need to be aware what your ability is to handle the bicycle.
Riders trying to be more safety conscious are grabbing onto helmets more than ever before.
A lot of them are finding out, unfortunately, on their own that they need a helmet, and that's usually when you get them to come in the shop and buy one, is after the fact.
You can see in the back of the helmet there's a huge crack. That would have been his skull.
Trauma expert Pamela Frankel says 96% of the people seriously hurt were not wearing helmets. Dr. Edmund Frank, a neurologist, sees some of the worst cases.
You have nothing to absorb the impact except your head and neck.
Bike helmets have been shown to prevent 85% of serious accidents. Oregon's latest study shows adults need the protective gear every bit as much as kids. Kelly Love, KGW Northwest News Channel 8.
The first statewide figures available for last year show the trend continuing.
Crews finished welding a new section of a natural gas pipeline that broke open and erupted in flames Monday. The fractured pipeline shot up a fountain of fire near Castle Rock, Washington. No one was hurt in the explosion. Officials from the Northwest Pipeline Corporation say shifting land and dirt caused the pipeline to rupture. They're still investigating what caused the landslide. Monday, crews will remove dirt surrounding the pipeline before bringing the system back up online.
A sinister enemy may be choking off the trees in your backyard and strangling our forests. When sharp winds toppled huge trees this week, we saw how strong this hostile force can be, and it hides behind such a gentle disguise. The News Channel's Pat Cruz shows us what this battle is all about and how to fight it.
The green foliage you're looking at doesn't belong here. That's English ivy, and it's not native to the Pacific Northwest.
Came from England, I would assume, with a name such as English ivy, and I'm sure it's a wonderful plant there, but it's altogether too enthusiastic here.
Wright says the ivy is taking over, climbing up the trees, charging over the landscape, crowding out the delicate water leaf and trilliums that are native here.
We are very nervous about what that means to the ecosystem to have it turn into a monoculture, a forest where there's no diversity or little diversity, where it's entirely an ocean of English ivy.
Here's what happens when ivy takes over a tree. Right here, you can't even see the bark of the tree for all the ivy vines, and a strong wind sent this tree's twin crashing. The ivy adds hundreds of pounds to the tree, especially when it's wet. A weak tree buckles. If this tree had fallen a few feet in either direction, it would have crushed a house. This army of campfire girls is fighting back against the ivy. They're slashing and snipping and sawing.
There we go.
Yay! Prying the vines off the trees like the arms of a hairy ape. They're learning their technique from Eleanor Levin.
Anything above that 3 feet will die eventually.
She tells them to cut the ivy away from the tree at about 3 feet to the roots of the vine.
To really get results, because if you don't get these roots out, it'll re-sprout.
Levin has spent 5 years clearing ivy out of Tryon Creek Park. She'll recruit anyone she can on her mission to stop this invading foreign force. Pat Cruz, KGW Northwest News Channel 8.
And when you are finished clearing the ivy away from your trees at home, the friends at Tryon Creek would like to help. Through the winter, they meet the second Saturday of each month to cut the ivy back from the trees.
Well, there's a piece of breaking news happening right now. There was a bomb scare this afternoon on a Southwest Airlines plane in Portland. One passenger is in custody after authorities evacuated the plane.
The News Channel's Kelly Love joins us from the airport now with the latest. Kelly?
Hi, Nancy. Here's the latest that we can tell you. We are on the south side of the airport here. We've just watched as the Southwest Airlines, a 737 plane, was taken from where we are here by the runway over to the area. At about 4 o'clock this afternoon, we got word that a plane had just landed and that people were being escorted from the plane because of a possible bomb scare. A gentleman sitting in the front row who may have had some kind of a device on board with him. The video that we shot just a little while ago, the plane was brought out to where we are, just 100 yards from here. The police met the plane immediately. They never taxied all the way in. The passengers were first escorted by bus, including the male suspect. Police came in, dogs came in. They began searching that luggage, searching everything on the plane, looking for any kind of device, any kind of a bomb. Because of this bomb scare, details are still sketchy of what the stewardesses apparently heard in flight as they were coming from Sacramento here to Portland on this Southwest Airlines flight. But we do know that they decided to call authorities, and somewhere in flight as they were arriving into the Portland area, and decided to escort this person away, who's now in custody with the Port of Portland police. He'll be turned over to the FBI for questioning. At this point, there is no evidence that there was a bomb on board. In fact, the luggage just made its way finally over to the concourse just a few minutes ago. We had a chance to talk with some of the passengers who were on their way here. They say they didn't know anything about this while they were in flight. But as soon as the plane hit the Portland runway, that everything got very weird very quickly, because the plane instantly stopped. The engines died. They said the moment it hit the runway there, that they were escorted, still not being told what had happened until they made it all the way back to the luggage carousel. They say looking back on it, it was a little scary for a few minutes. Everyone is doing fine. It was not a crowded plane from Sacramento, about 50 people on board that 737. They're now getting their luggage and on their way home. A bomb scare this afternoon at the Portland airport, and the individual suspected of making some kind of a bomb threat is going to be questioned by the FBI into tonight. Back to you, Nancy.
All right, thanks, Kelly. I'm sure we'll hear more about that person later.
Well, on to a lighter story. Hillsborough residents got a jump on St. Patrick's festivities today. Just about everyone was doing an Irish jig as the floats passed by. This is Hillsborough's 17th annual St. Patrick's Parade. The assortment of floats, animals, and bands were enough to make other communities green with envy. It was obvious they were having a whale of a time. All of this marching and parade watching can really work up an appetite, so they topped off the event with an Irish lunch at the courthouse. As you might expect, it was corned beef and cabbage with red potatoes. Sounds pretty good.
What else? Well, how about the weather forecast coming up? Here's Jack Capell with the latest on that. Jack?
Nancy, well, today's weather was what we call extremely unstable. And in fact, in an extreme case like this, you can get tornadoes, and that's just what's happened around some parts of the Northwest. A satellite picture here shows a couple of spots where we have had reports of tornadoes. One, well, there's tornado warning now in effect for Harney County. About 20 minutes ago, or just less than that, there was a tornado sighted 40 miles southeast from Burns. Then earlier today, there was one reported at 2:55 p.m. in southern Washington at Goldendale. That's about 50 miles northeast of Goldendale. That's just northeast from the Dalles on the Washington side. And that lasted just a few seconds, did no damage, and just moved right along. But right now, we have that warning in for Harney County in southeastern Oregon, and there are some thunderstorms around the area too, and I'll be back later and talk about our local weather situation even more.
All right, thank you, Jack.
Well, the Republicans say President Clinton has put national security at risk. Just ahead on the news channel, the president tries filling the void at the CIA.
Also, why the British government is upset Clinton is allowing this man into the United States.
Later, our movie review, Outbreak, starring Dustin Hoffman and Rene Russo.
Bobby, this is not complicated. It's very simple. This thing kills everything in its path to come to put out an alert.
You know, this is starting to sound familiar. Is that the border, Colonel Daniels?
I cannot believe you're thinking of this.
This edition of News Channel 8 is closed captioned through a generous grant from Smith's Home Furnishings, because nobody cares like Smith's.
When it comes to your home sweet home, Kitchen Caboodle has everything but the kitchen sink. Upstairs, downstairs, all around the house. Like classic wrought iron summer furniture from Lion Shaw, now at special early bird savings. Kitchen Caboodle, all the things that make your house a home. 4 Portland locations, locally owned since 1975.
The auto show is over, and now it's time to get serious at Link Pontiac, where we have the hard-to-get models, factory rebates on several models, and are making fabulous post-auto show deals when you want Pontiac and
Think John Link.
And we can get the hard-to-find GMC truck models you saw at the auto show. You can find GMC trucks when you
Think Link,
where McLaughlin meets I-205 and the smart buyers go.
Lady, you got a problem?
Yeah, like what to make for dinner.
Huh.
Relax. Dinner's right here on your Miracle Whip jar.
Wow.
Just stir-fried chicken, mixed vegetables, and the soy sauce with Miracle Whip salad dressing. So see? Chicken stir-fry whip-up.
This is amazing.
Okay.
I got a call this morning.
So remember, whip-ups with Miracle Whip.
Yeah, honey, we got any Miracle Whip?
Only at Tom Peterson.
And Glorious, too.
Only $10 down.
And $10 a month.
Buys this full-size Frigidaire washer.
Or this full-size sleeper.
Or this complete king bed.
Or this 25-inch remote TV.
Or your choice of sofa.
Pay just $267.
Only $10 down and $10 a month.
Or 90 days, the same as cash.
Now that's Tom Peterson.
And Glorious, too.
Now, with Nancy Francis and Gulstan Dart, this is Northwest News Channel 8.
President Clinton says he favors leaner, not meaner government.
In his weekly radio address, he says the welfare reform debate should focus on responsibility without closing the door to the opportunity for millions of Americans.
I believe we should offer more opportunity in terms of education and work to people on welfare, but we must demand more responsibility, tougher child support enforcement, responsible parenting, and the requirement that to receive benefits, young people should be in school or working toward going to work.
In the Republican response, Representative Scott Klug of Wisconsin defended the GOP plans to shift social programs to the states. He accused Democrats of promoting hysteria over the Republican plan, saying bureaucracy will be cut, not help to the needy.
The #2 man at the Pentagon will now be the #1 man in the CIA. Deputy Defense Secretary John Deutsch is President Clinton's new nominee to head the Central Intelligence Agency. Deutsch's nomination comes after the president's first choice withdrew his nomination. Retired Air Force General Michael Carnes withdrew over legal questions about a former houseworker he brought to the U.S. from the Philippines. The CIA has been without a director since December, and Republicans are criticizing Clinton's delay in getting the position filled.
This is especially important in light of the Aldrich Ames issue, and the delay in providing leadership for the CIA is a very, very important national security interest that the American people need to know about.
If Deutsch wins Senate confirmation, President Clinton says he will make the post a cabinet-level position.
The head of the political wing of the Irish Republican Army arrived in the U.S. today. Sinn Féin leader Gerry Adams is kicking off a week-long visit. While here, Adams is expected to raise money for peaceful purposes in Northern Ireland, and he will meet with President Clinton on St. Patrick's Day. That visit will mark the first time a Sinn Féin leader has met a United States president. Civil rights activists have finished walking in the footsteps of their groundbreaking predecessors. The marchers have been duplicating the 1965 Voting Rights March from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery, marking the event's 30th anniversary. They left Selma last weekend, and today they walked the last 4.5 miles, arriving at the state capitol. Leaders admonished a younger generation of blacks to get out and vote.
I vote from Selma to South Africa. We'll free the people.
Voting is something that we all take for granted, and it's something that we have to let the young people know that people died for in order for them to get to this point.
It's estimated that 8 million blacks in America are not registered to vote.
There is just over a week of winter left, and next Jack Capell will tell us what's in store for the next few days.
What happens to stars after they die? The shuttle astronauts search for answers.
Also, the latest efforts to stop frivolous lawsuits could stop some legitimate victims from getting their due.
What did you see on News Channel 8 this week?
One of the first reporters to get to this area from above.
Sky 8 and the News Channel were first on the scene when a natural gas line ruptured.
Our time together is very precious.
You saw the News Channel's exclusive interview with Oregon's First Lady. And coming up Monday at 5...
Real simple device.
Is it worth it or worthless? What's supposed to prevent car theft may be a giant ripoff. Our scam expert investigates Monday at 5 on News Channel 8.
Final art sale. This is your last chance. The end of collector's art season means we must sell out now. Over 2,000 beautiful oil paintings at $49 or less. $49. Incredible. In addition, choose from our huge variety of gallery oils, like this classic floral, a rich hunt scene framed in gold, or an elegant landscape at unbelievable savings. Quality, selection, and low prices only at Collector's Art. This Sunday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In Beaverton at the Greenwood Inn. At Jansen Beach at the Red Lion Columbia River. In Clackamas at the Monarch Hotel. And in Salem at the Quality Inn.
Who says clothes make the man? By looking at me, it's easy to see how hair can make the difference.
If your hair is thinning, call Hair Club for Men and receive your free booklet about thinning hair. It covers transplants, weaving, minoxidil, and much more.
The point is, I wasn't happy with my appearance. I wanted to be 21. I wanted to be 22 years old. Without the hair, you feel older. With the hair, you feel like you can do anything.
You'll also find before and after photos of men like yourself who've benefited from Hair Club's advanced technology of adding hair in with your own hair without surgery.
I went from having very little hair to having a full head of hair. I felt like $1 million.
Now, whether working out, showering, or just blow drying your hair, it feels like your own.
I did not ask to lose my hair. And for a long period of time, I thought that I would have no choice. And with Hair Club, I do have that choice. I like that.
So call for your free booklet, and you'll see how hair can make you look and feel your best.
Now, Jack Capell with KGW Northwest News Channel 8 weather.
Already 2 tornadoes have been reported in Oregon and Washington this afternoon. One just about 25 minutes ago. That was near the town of New Princeton. That's about 40 miles southeast of Burns in Harney County in southeastern Oregon. Now here's a satellite picture showing broken cloudiness associated with the very unstable air that we have over us. And there's the tornado location in southeastern Oregon. And another one reported just northeast of the Dalles across on the Washington side. That was just 15 miles northeast of Goldendale, Washington. That was at 2:55 this afternoon. Lasted only a few seconds. No damage reported from that one. No damage reported from the one in southeastern Oregon either, but it was sighted by an aircraft going over that area. Right now, the temperature at Portland Airport, 57 degrees. The barometer rising at 29.55. And here's our almanac for today, which shows a record high of 69 degrees in 1965, a record low of 24 degrees in 1956. And now let's move along to a wider view of the satellite picture. And we can pick out a few features on that. Over the northwest, we have the broken cloudiness associated with unstable air. And that's when you get cold air moving over a milder and moist air beneath it. And that causes a lot of up and down motion in the atmosphere, causes building clouds, causes thunderstorms, showers, tornadoes in some cases, and we have had a couple of them reported, as I just mentioned. And here we have a line of showers heading now toward California again. They've been getting showers off and on down there. Nationally, it shows a lot of echoes in California. Southern California has been getting most of the heavier shower activity. That's moving over into Idaho, Nevada, and there are storm warnings, winter storm warnings in effect for Colorado and Utah at the present time. Most of the eastern and central part of the nation had very mild and a lot of sunshine conditions today. 62 the high at Chicago this afternoon, 68 Kansas City, 68 Atlanta. Notice that the northern plains, 48 Bismarck, and Minneapolis up to 56 this afternoon. Highs over Oregon and Washington, 56 at Seattle, 61 at Portland Airport, 60 at Eugene, and east of the Cascades, a lot of mild ones over there too, with 64s at the Dalles, also at Pendleton. And lows this morning, fairly mild for this time of the year, with 46 at the airport, 44 at Eugene, and east of the Cascades, 32 at Burns, and 34 at Lakeview. And this is the upper air pattern on the surface pattern also for tomorrow, and that shows the next storm moving in. Now that should arrive about tomorrow night, because the upper air stream is shown here, the split jet just offshore from us, but that's going to carry that storm right in toward the Pacific Northwest. Now we expect this one will affect a little bit more of Oregon and Washington than it will of California, as have the previous few systems that have come in. Marine conditions, the small craft advisory is in effect for the coast, and the coastal forecast is for some scattered showers easing off during the day tomorrow. We should see a little partial clearing during the day, and temperatures in the 50s in the afternoon. In the Cascades, look for a little scattered snow shower activity in the morning, and then clearing off somewhat in the afternoon, with snow level about 2,500 feet. And for central Oregon, look for some scattered rain or snow earlier in the day, and then some partial clearing later in the afternoon. In eastern Oregon, look for scattered shower activity during the day tomorrow with some partial clearing periods, and again, a tornado watch in effect this evening for Harney County in southeastern Oregon. For the gorge, look for some scattered shower activity early in the day, and then clearing off with a little bit of partial clearing, at least in the afternoon. For the Willamette Valley, a little shower activity in the morning, and then partial clearing in the afternoon before the next storm comes in about tomorrow night. Portland, Vancouver area, low of 41 degrees. A little scattered rain shower activity overnight and in the morning. And then during the afternoon, should be up to about 56 degrees with some partial clearing, but then rain coming in tomorrow night, another storm. And for Monday then, that means rain, a high about 57 degrees on Monday, and then Tuesday, some more rain continuing, and then showery on Wednesday, 58. And Thursday, we should see some partial clearing and a high of 62 degrees. Should see the sunshine by that time. And Pete Parsons back with his sunny remarks just a little bit later.
Okay, thanks a lot, John.
The Space Shuttle Endeavour's astronauts studied stellar explosions today. The 7-member crew spent its 10th day in space pointing telescopes at Nova Centauri 1995. Astronauts are learning what happens to stars after they die. Mission Control has labeled the flight the Marathon Astronomy and Astrophysics mission because they're just barely keeping up with all the data being sent down.
Well, the people at the Denver Zoo can barely keep up with all the excitement there. First, it was an adorable polar bear pair. Now, there are some other new arrivals drawing big crowds. That story just ahead.
Also, some Portlanders take a walk on the wild side.
When these party dancers got out of hand, where were the police? They were watching. Wait till you see what the best reporters have on tape.
I was never so offended in my life.
Next over.
Monday at 4 on News Channel 8.
A daffodil, the first flower of spring and a flower of hope. For as little as $5, you can brighten